Welcome to JK Fantasy Football, where we're not kidding.
Seriously.
We're not kidding.
Oh, what a hit. Look out. Brad Smith. My goodness.
Welcome back, everyone, to JK Fantasy Football. Today we're going to talk about a draft that myself and Jay just did. We're going to go round by round, talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, go in depth in our picks, and then kind of talk about what to expect when you're in an NFL managed league. So we'll start with round one. Alvin Kamara was my second overall pick. It was either him or Saquon who I was going to choose. It's pretty easy when Saquon came off the board. Alvin Kamara was the number 2 pick.
Now, going in down, as we can see here, pick number 3 was Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott currently having issues with being with his team. This was actually an auto pick. So something that does kind of come up pretty often in an NFL managed league is that you'll have players who just don't want to partake in the draft or they can't. So therefore, it goes automatically. And NFL likes to do top-ranked players as the next player to get drafted. So Ezekiel Elliott, somebody that we don't even know if is going to be playing this season, was unfortunately picked number 1 for the team named Profits, overall pick number 3 in the draft. Now, going down the line, pretty straightforward expectations. You have, Christian McCaffrey, DeAndre Hopkins, but Nick Chubb.
Let's talk about Nick Chubb.
We got to talk about Nick Chubb. Now, the team that picked Nick Chubb was a team named Albania. You're going to hear a little bit more about them as we go through this, but firstly, Nick Chubb. Who would you have picked if you were pick 6?
Well, so pick 6, you still got David Johnson on the board, and then you obviously picked Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, Michael Thomas. All great picks. I also want to throw in Le'Veon Bell. He's supposed to be the 5th or 6th overall pick. I would have probably gone with Le'Veon Bell over Nick Chubb.
I mean, I agree in the aspect of if I had to pick between the two, I personally am not a Lev Bell fan, just in general overall. That's why I did go with Devontae Adams in the first round over Le'Veon Bell. But with that being said anyways, I would have definitely gone a different route than Nick Chubb coming on the Browns team, which you have Browns offensive based on passing. You just picked up OBJ. You have Jarvis Landry, David Njoku. I can't expect much of the run game to come out of that.
I mean, I think he's still going to be a really highly rated back, but I don't think first round overall was great.
Pick number 6, no. Probably could have waited or, if anything, got someone better.
Let's get into your pick of Devontae Adams.
So, Devontae Adams, I do like. The fact now that he has solidified his number 1 spot, you're on Aaron Rodgers' passing team. They don't really have that many other wide receivers, maybe besides, Valdez-Scantling, who can put up numbers and be a good complement to Devontae Adams. But with that being said, with who was on the board, I definitely think I got a great pick with Devontae Adams first round. That's a definite.
All right, so let's get down into round number 2.
So first pick in round number 2, Patrick Mahomes. I definitely expected Pat Mahomes to go in round 2. Whether he be the first pick, not sure about that, but I will give him a solid pick in round 2 for sure.
Yeah, I think Mahomes in round 2 is probably where he's going to go. Number 11, I think that's a little early, but if you're looking to get Mahomes and you're the last pick and then the first pick in the second round, yeah, okay, I understand that. We'll get into Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill for myself. I mean, come on, you got the cheetah. And I'm a big Pat Mahomes fan in the aspect of him playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. So when Pat Mahomes is under center, who's he going to throw to? Either Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce.
Right.
And why not get the fastest player on the field?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on,
And then we'll move down on the list. Baker Mayfield coming in at number 15.
Guess who picked him up?
Albania.
Like we said, we were going to talk about Albania for a little bit. Now, Kyle and I, when we were doing this draft, we didn't see auto pick, meaning there's a little recycle symbol lets you know that somebody isn't actually there in the draft, so they're going to be automatically picked up per NFL gods. And Baker Mayfield got picked up by an actual player. He was not auto picked.
No, and this is the guy that drafted Nick Chubb 6th overall, too.
Maybe Browns fan?
He might be a Browns fan. I mean, his logo's brown.
That is very right. I mean, it does look like it is a Browns team, but now we are talking about drafting emotionally.
Yeah.
It's not something that should be done really at all.
No.
If you can prevent it from happening, perfect. If you get desperate, I understand, but Baker Mayfield, round 2, I don't approve. Definitely do not approve.
Do not approve of that one. We'll move down. The really good pick I like, Jordan may not be on board, but I think how far Le'Veon Bell fell. That's great. I think he's definitely a first-round running back. I don't think anyone's going to deny that. Getting picked at 16, it's a good pick.
Now, the only other pick that I want to point out, other than your Juju Smith-Schuster pick, which I'm going to give you a lot of credit for, I loved how far that he fell at pick 19 and that you were able to snipe him, because really I would have expected Juju, if not late round 1, maybe, depending, definite early round 2. But following your Juju pick, a Deshaun Watson pickup. That one, I don't know. I want to say maybe they were auto-drafting if that was the case, but Deshaun Watson is not high enough ranked for that to happen.
I think this guy was actually auto-drafting.
No, maybe not.
It's a weird choice. I don't approve of the pick. We'll talk about my Juju pick, though. I also really like that pick. He was great coming in at 19. I kind of wanted Joe Mixon to pick right before me, but he was gone, so it made my choice really easy. I went with my running back wide receiver tandem, so now I'm in a really good spot to keep going either running back or wide receiver. Let's break down round 3 now.
All right. You want to take the first one?
Yeah, so let's talk about TC2. Took Deshaun Watson, 20th overall. He's now taken the Diva Antonio Brown, 21st overall. Listen, I don't hate this pick, but if he keeps acting the way he is, man, he's going to need a Snickers.
I mean, you have somebody that we don't even know if is going to hit the field, and your second round pick wasn't a star player, third round pick coming off somebody who might not even play. That's very risky. I mean, if you want to look at all the players that came after them, you got Dalvin Cook, James Conner, Mike Evans. Shoot, I might have even considered Amari Cooper before picking up Antonio Brown, because there's no guarantee right now with having Antonio Brown come and play.
Right. And then we'll break down my pick. I currently had a running back and wide receiver, so I was kind of open to what my next pick would be. I always like to get good running back depth, so I went with Dalvin Cook. Vikings offense is supposed to be more run-based this year. I still expect Thielen and Diggs to get a lot of targets, but I really like my Dalvin Cook pick. Next, we'll drop down to Melvin Gordon. Currently, he's on a contract holdout. I'm a little, I won't draft Melvin at all, just based on him being in a holdout and seeing what happened with Le'Veon Bell last year. What are your thoughts on this Melvin Gordon pick?
I agree, honestly, with having somebody who has put a lot of energy into saying I'm the best running back and you're going to pay me what I want, and then if that doesn't happen, I mean, the Chargers do have 2 additional running backs on their team already, so as much as the Chargers might like having a player like Melvin Gordon, I do believe that they have their backup to him, and they could easily say nope, which means Melvin Gordon is going to potentially go on a team that has no run game,
right?
And there you go, you have no player.
So we'll scroll down the list a little bit. Talk about Jordan's pick, Kerryon Johnson.
So Kerryon Johnson was a great pick for me, I feel, just because of one reason. Well, a couple reasons, actually. First reason being, this is a PPR league. So briefly mentioned, a PPR is a points per reception. I definitely feel with the Lions being a very heavy passing team and their minimal run game, he will be the best of both worlds. He's not as fast as Christian McCaffrey, I'll say, but I do believe he'll be utilized as much as Christian McCaffrey is in the pass game, which means that he will definitely be great with points. He did have a couple of great games last season when he transitioned to starting. I know he did bar an injury towards the end of the season, but with him being healthy this year, I do have a lot of high expectations for Kerryon.
And I think the rest of this round, it kind of went as normal. Everyone who was picked, it looks great. We'll move on to the 4th round now.
Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett.
I do not agree at all with Tyler Lockett being picked first pick, 4th round. I mean, you have Adam Thielen still on the board. The clear starter for Vikings, if not somebody who's consistently put numbers up. Then you still have Stephon Diggs. Again, wide receiver position. Even Julian Edelman inside of a PPR league, still on the board. But Tyler Lockett, I mean,
he's currently going in the 6th round. They took him really early in the 4th. Sure, he may be the starter in Seattle. It may work out for this pick, but I don't agree with the pick being so early. I would have took him probably where his average draft position is in the 6th round. We'll move down to Damian Williams.
So Damian Williams is my pick. I really like this. I do believe that Damian Williams is going to have a great year starting. He didn't start most of last season, but the last 3 games that he played, homie put up numbers. I mean, he's on a team that doesn't have much of a, we'll say, crowded backfield, because they had Kareem Hunt, Spencer Ware, and Damian Williams at all 3 at one time. Now it's pretty much Damian Williams' field. He does have a backup, but for somebody who is able to put up numbers in a heavy passing game or a heavy passing team, I would look to have him a repeat season of his last 3 games.
Right. I think he'll be the starter out there. They do have Carlos Hyde, but he's kind of shown that he's not a starter. He's kind of a complimentary piece. And then Andy Reid, when has he ever had a running back by committee situation? Not very often. So I would put a lot of faith in Damian Williams this year. We'll move on down. Let's talk about Albania one more time. Sammy Watkins, huh?
I don't even know. I mean, Sammy Watkins isn't even a starter. He's got Tyreek Hill. He's got Travis Kelce. I would still argue Damian Williams would be putting up more numbers consistently than Sammy Watkins should, or whatever. And at that point in time, what? 4th round?
Yeah, 4th round.
4th round. All right. He must see something in Sammy Watkins that I don't, but I can tell you I do not expect Sammy Watkins to put up anywhere near amount of 4th round points.
Right.
You still have players like Stephon Diggs on the board. I would have picked up Stephon Diggs because you have the number 2 producer on the team as opposed to number 4.
Right, exactly. We'll move on down to my pick, Julian Edelman. So this was basically a PPR-based decision. Julian Edelman, he's going to get a lot of catches in this offense. He might not get a lot of touchdowns, but I really like him in the 4th round. He's a solid pick. I also think Robert Woods was a really good pick at this point, too. I like anyone on the Rams, to be honest. That's a really explosive offense.
It is a very explosive offense.
So let's get into round 5. Talk about my 42nd overall pick, Josh Jacobs.
Going rookies, I see.
So I went with the rookie this time. It's a little bit risky. I like the reward. He's going to be the only person in that backfield. Raiders offense can be hit or miss at times, but I'm going to take a chance on Josh Jacobs. We'll move down, kind of talk about our friend Albania one more time.
I mean, a tight end in round 5, no one other than Travis Kelce should get picked up before round 7 or 8. I would say 8.
We can talk about Kittle and Ertz being
okay, you're right. My apologies. Kittle and Ertz, definitely somebody that would be considered, but come on, Jared Cook?
Cook should not have been the 4th off the board.
From the Saints? That's a team that's going to not... I don't even think they're going to look at him. They might look at him once.
I mean, I've already talked about this. This guy shouldn't even... He shouldn't be drafted until maybe 14th round.
Arguably, not even drafted at all.
Yeah. Horrible pick by Albania, but once again, he's our horrible pick guy. Jordan, let's talk about Mark Ingram.
Alrighty, so Mark Ingram was definitely somebody that I loved when it was both him and Kamara. Now, I kind of made a little bit of mistake there, Kyle. You can go right ahead and call me out right now if you want to. Who was still on the board, and who did I pick?
So, PPR league, we should be looking at the guy at the bottom of the screen right now, Philip Lindsay. He was still on the board. He's going to get more receptions. What I do like about Mark Ingram, though, is that offense is going to be solely based on running the ball. Whether it's Jackson or Ingram, they're going to be running the ball a lot. I think Jackson's projected like 2,000 passing yards.
Jeez.
So it's not a bad pick. I think he's fine right there. But I do think Philip Lindsay would have been the better pick in this situation.
If I had to go back a pick, that would be the only pick that probably went back on.
Yeah.
This draft. Definitely.
All right, so we'll move on to round 6.
So David Montgomery went first pick, round 6. I think that was really high considering. Let's see. Bears offense.
Yeah, so, I mean, they have Tariq Cohen on the offense.
That's it.
Mitch Trubisky's, he's kind of hit or miss at times. And then, so David Montgomery, he's not a bad pick. He's on a good team, but I think just by how much is going to get stolen from him by Tariq Cohen, I'm kind of worried about him being picked that early. And then we'll move on to the 53rd overall pick, Chris Godwin.
So this pick I actually do really like. Chris Godwin is not somebody that everybody would think of to pick right away because, I mean, you think of the Buccaneers and it's like, okay, Mike Evans. But, I mean, hey, Mike Evans is going to cause double coverage almost every single game, which leaves nothing but Chris Godwin and O.J. Howard. Oh, by the way, we'll go over that. I picked him up as well. But both of those players are the only two other players that would ever get looked at. And Godwin's a player who can put up numbers. He's great, got great hands, great speed, can get over the top. I do think with him falling to round 6 was actually a solid pick.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick too. Someone's got to fill the void that Deshaun Jackson left, right?
That's pretty much what it is.
So I think 53 overall, 6th round, solid pick. He's building a flex spot, maybe even depth on his bench. I think it's a great pick. We'll move down to my pick, who I actually think is a better receiver at this point, just based on receptions alone. Cooper Kupp. I think it was solid to get him. Kind of the same reasons for what I said about Woods earlier is I really like the Rams offense. It's explosive. They got a lot of playmakers. And for whatever reason, even though they have 3 really good wide receivers, they all get points every week somehow. But I'm looking at Cooper Kupp for a lot of upside. And then I really want to talk about this number 60 overall pick. I love the name,
I mean,
but I don't love the player at this pick.
come on. Kyle Rudolph.
Kyle
Pick
Rudolph.
60?
I think he's projected to go around 13, 14.
Yeah. Enough said.
Yeah.
Enough said. 13, 14.
Don't take Kyle Rudolph that early, guys.
No.
Let's move on to round 7.
Right.
All right, so we'll get into the 62nd overall pick of Hunter Henry on my team. I needed a tight end at this point. My team was starting to get full. I had a lot of running backs, a lot of wide receivers. I needed a tight end. I think Hunter Henry is going to do really good things this year. He's 1 year removed from a knee injury. I think it was a solid pick.
Let's talk about what just happened right after you picked, okay? We see Aaron Rodgers go off the board, which round 7 Aaron Rodgers, I'm okay with. And then 3, 4 picks afterwards. You got Russell Wilson, then Matt Ryan. Of course, our lovely fan Albania coming through with Kirk Cousins, and then Drew Brees. This is something that tends to happen with a lot of different drafts, especially on the NFL managed. A lot of players who don't know, they see this and then what? They just jump on
And then they just jump on the bandwagon. So you start to see a run. Aaron Rodgers, great pick. Russell Wilson, I'm not mad about that pick. And then people start going, oh crap, I need a quarterback. And so Matt Ryan comes off the board. And then you're running out of really good quarterbacks that you were looking at. And so our boy Albania, he goes for the Hail Mary and picks Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins should not be considered in the 7th round.
I don't think I would pick Kirk Cousins, to be honest. I would probably pick a rookie quarterback over Kirk Cousins to be on my team. Yes, you have players such as Stephon Diggs, you have players such as Adam Thielen, but on a quarterback who isn't the most consistent at all, I mean, come on. Every single game, you don't know if he's even going to put up any points. He might throw more interceptions than he does touchdowns.
Yeah, and then Drew Brees at 67th. I actually really like that pick. This run wasn't horrible other than Kirk Cousins, but if you start seeing something like this and you're not ready to draft a quarterback, definitely stray away from it. Like, don't be emotional and just feel like you have to all of a sudden grab a quarterback. And then moving on down, talk about Mike Williams.
So I like Mike Williams as a part of my wide receiver core just because of the fact that, yes, he will be lining up opposite field of Keenan Allen, but very similar to the Chris Godwin pick. I mean, you're talking about somebody who's going to be attracting a lot of attention, and this is going to be Allen. He's going to get the double coverage. Yes, he'll get over top, but you have Mike Williams just as fast, can get down the field just as far, and also have great hands. Tall receiver.
Yeah.
I like him. I like the way if Allen's not getting the ball, then it's Williams. That's what it's gonna be.
Right, and I really like this pick too. We're gonna move on to the 8th round now.